Hey guys, so today we are going to start 9B Historias de la Calle, and this is going to be kind of bare bones since we can't do all of these activities like normal in class. So basically, I'm just going to go over the grammar points for the first two pages, 224 and 225. There are just a couple of grammar points. So I'll go over that and then um, let you know about the homework and stuff. All right, so on 224, over on the left, you see the box that says identificar por una característica. Basically, this is just using el, la, los, or las. And then depending on what you're trying to say, you either use de or que. So if you're going to use it with a noun, you use de. If you're going to use it with a verb, you use que. So the example they give is Jorge es el del restaurante cubano. So Jorge is the one from the Cuban restaurant, basically. Gabriela y Elena son las que trabajan en la librería. So, and they're the ones who work in the bookstore. So that's what you really have to pay attention to, is whether you're using it with a noun or with a verb. The other thing you have to pay attention to, like always, is that the article that you use has to agree with the gender and the number of whatever you're trying to reference. So if you're referencing women or feminine nouns, then you're going to use la or las, depending on whether it's singular or plural. And if it's masculine or a man, then you're going to use el or los. So the other thing, as far as grammar in these two pages, is affirmative commands, and we're just going to be doing the singular forms. So basically, for commands, the informal tu commands are basically the third person form of the present. So girar, it would be él, ella, gira. For the tu command, it's going to be the same as that, gira. It's important though, like you wouldn't say tu gira or anything. It's just gira. Like when you're doing commands, you're never going to put the subject pronoun. So like yo, tu, él, blah, blah, blah. You just use the verb conjugated like the third person present form. And that is for the informal tu commands. So then for the usted command, which that's the more formal one that you would use for, like, I don't know, talking to older people or talking to professors, stuff like that. Basically, you just flip the third person present tense ending. So like you can see the verb is girar, so it's an AR verb. For usted, you just flip the ending. So instead of having an A, you would use basically the ER-IR ending, gire. And then for the ER-IR verbs, instead of recoge or sigue, it would be recoja and siga. So like, yeah, basically just flips the endings, I guess, is like a sort of an easy way to think about it, I think. So for the usted command, you're going to put that basically flipped ending on sort of the stem that you make when you conjugate it in the first person present tense. So it would be yo giro, and then the usted command is gire. Recojo goes to recoja, and then sigo would be the yo form, and it goes to siga. So yeah, basically stem changes are going to be the same as they are in present tense. You're going to carry that over basically into the command, whether it's formal or informal. So just keep that in mind. So the most, I guess, sort of irregular command that is included in these pages is the ir command, and it's irregular for tú and for usted. So whether it's formal or informal, it's going to be an irregular form. So basically, all you have to do is remember, and it's only two of them, so shouldn't be that bad. But so the command for ir in the tú form is be, and in the usted form, it is vaya. So vaya hasta el cine y gire a la derecha. So that is an example of two commands that are formal. So usted uses vaya for ir. And then instead of gira, which would be informal, you use gire. So yeah, you're talking to, I don't know, an old person or a professor or something like that. Now, if you wanted to make this, like if you were talking to your friend or some, I don't know, random person on the street, to make it informal, you would say, ve hasta el cine y gira a la derecha. So just kind of switching up. For the ones that aren't irregular, just sort of switching the ending. And then for the irregular, obviously, you just have to change the whole word. All right, so I know that was kind of basic, but there are good explanations in the end of 9B on page 231. What we covered was 9B.1, identify with a characteristic, and 9B.2, give directions, aka these particular verbs in the command form. And it has, you know, pretty good explanations. So while we're on this page, in your VHL homework that is due, I guess, in a couple of weeks, the way that everything is divided up, a couple of the first activities are going to be this one, G2, imperativo, afirmativo. So basically, you're just conjugating the commands. It's nothing too complicated. So for example, the first one, pasa, and the formal, because you switch the ending, so instead of pasa, it would be pase. So you would conjugate it like the ERIR third person singular present tense. But yeah, it's not that complicated. Just pay attention to what it says over here. And also, I'm still going to be doing some like online tutoring and stuff, but well, I'll talk about that later. Then you also, for VHL homework, are going to be doing G3 conversaciones. So for this one, you're basically just completing the conversation, and you're basically just going to pick the correct form of each verb. You have to first off decide which verb goes where, and then you have to decide if it's going to be a formal or an informal command. So just pay attention to, like, I guess, how they've conjugated things before, and that should give you a clue there, you know. But yeah, so there are a few more homework assignments from these couple of pages. One of them is really similar to G1, which is basically choosing which article and whether you use de or que here. Um, and then there are some more examples of this on the first page of 9b, so you can look back at that as well if it's still not clear. But yeah, so G2 and G3 are the only ones on VHL from the book, at least that are assigned right now. There might be more later. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. All right, so the last thing is obviously not going to be tutoring in person anymore, but if you have any question about anything from this lesson or any subsequent lesson, just like usual, just give me an email. It's jbpalmer1@Crimson. So if you just need like a quick explanation or like have homework questions or whatever, just send me an email. Also, though, because I know we're still going to have some evaluaciones coming up, written and oral. So if you want help reviewing for those, or if you need like, I guess, if it's more than just like one quick question, we can set up a time to like Skype or something like that. If it's going to be something where we want to spend a little bit more time. And then, yeah, just send me an email if you need anything. And I guess that is it for today. Bye.